So we have been talking about two kinds of learning. One is the academic learning, like learning something by your understanding and learning to be able to use it in a situation and definitely to repeat it back. Okay, so in a school setting, let's say. But then the other kind of learning is learning by faith, and that is what the Bible is speaking about, because God is calling us to something greater than just knowledge. He's calling us to wisdom. And in Hebrews 4:2, this is described as mixing faith with what is being told us. And that is the place where our learning becomes a different sort. We start living by it, we rely on it in our ways and in our understanding. We start leaning on that truth and we start applying it in our lives, and that is a huge difference. And we did mention back a few days ago, I guess, that both success and failure can be equally useful in the walk of a disciple. And this kind of learning is one of the reasons for that. So let's think of a specific example, because it can become sound so theoretical. But let's say Hebrews 9:14. So it says, "How much more shall the blood of Christ, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself without spot to God, purge your conscience from dead works to serve the living God." Okay, so that's an amazing verse. But how will I take it? Okay, so I don't know. Does your conscience accuse you a lot, or does it condemn you? We would call that, if it does, we would call that an evil conscience. Okay, and how do you change that? Well, you can learn all kinds of things in life, but that will not reach deep in you and will not change your conscience how it is. But when you take the Word of God and you mix faith with it, you agree with it in your heart, and you not just agree, but submit to it, you follow it, you decide to rely on it in life, actually, that changes things. Because, I could say, oh, that's a nice verse. Those are nice thoughts, okay? But do I trust it? And, and if I don't trust it, if I just say, oh, that's a nice verse, I did my Bible reading for the day, good one, okay, so that's that, very nice verse, then my conscience is going to remain evil, and I will just be hobbled in life by that evil conscience. It will just destroy any ability to move forward and to go on with hope. You understand, you know what I'm talking about. So if it's just in my head and then I fail, it doesn't help me. All right. But if I decided to take that verse and to humble my heart before it, the reality and the power of the blood of Christ, and I start saying in my heart that I agree, and then let's say I connect that in my heart with other truths, like let's say Hebrews 10:19 and 9:26, and the power of the blood of Christ in all those places and many other places, then it becomes a power. Those words, that truth becomes a power that works in our new hearts, and that's how actually this Christian walk works in a great way. That the Word of God feeds us and motivates us and changes us. And so even when I fail, and I don't want to, but let's say I fail, and then that truth speaks to me and gives me hope to move on, and I realize how useful it is for me and how real it is, and I learn to rely on it more and more, and I find its power even in my failure to a greater and greater degree. And then, even in failure, it does a great work in me. So, do you make that decision? Do I make that decision when we come to the Word of God? Do we make the decision to bow our hearts, to bow our minds, and our wills before a verse, that verse or every verse, even the ones that we don't like? And if we do, then the Word of God will accomplish an amazing work in us as we move forward. And that learning by faith will add to our life, whether our life be successful at the moment or a failure.